back to the F124 Ferrari driver career mode. Yes, we are back today in the Sunshine State of Miami. Now, a few changes this weekend. I have changed the formation lap set to broadcast from here on out, and I have changed the lead commentator from Alex Jakes back to Crofty, at least until they fix this bug with Alex where he just says nonsense at the start. And then some more news coming in 2 days on Monday the 24th, a new update for F124. Not sure how much the handling is going to change, so we'll see how that unfolds. But the big news is Ferrari getting their 2024 livery change put into this game, the HP sponsor logo on the rear wing and front wing and halo. So that'll be interesting to see. I am going to miss this Ferrari livery. It is gorgeous. I wish they didn't have to change it, but it is what it is. So there's some changes there, but enough of that. Let's get into sprint qualifying.
It is driver versus stopwatch. It is a venue that is new to Formula One in recent years, but you have to dance the car to the edge. It is Miami. It is qualifying. Who will take the pole?
Right, here we are at the start of SQ1. For our first run, we've gone out on a set of the medium compound tires. A bit of an obvious choice there, since we have the third fastest car. Tied for second with McLaren, of course. But now we're going to start our first run of SQ1, and I already go deep into turn 1. I could tell there. Just missed the braking point by a little bit, but not much harm done. Probably lose a tenth there. And now we exit out onto the back straight, approaching the final DRS zone of the lap. And approaching the final corner of the lap as well. So we don't want to outbrake ourselves here. This car has felt like it does not have a lot of braking power or enough downforce to slow the car down and assist in the deceleration. So we cross the line, only 16th fastest for us.
That's us down into P16 now.
Now that is a surprise, so I'm going to have to push on this set to get back to the pits so we can change and go out for another run. No! Oh, we did not have enough time to get back out of the garage. Oh no. Oh, okay. So heartbreak for us. That was just so confusing. There was so much happening. 17th on the grid. And if you want to know how close the gaps are in Formula 1, they're the closest they've ever been. 1 second covering 20 different Formula 1 cars. That is just absolutely amazing. So we were only 4/10 off of our teammate on the same tire, which is about where I expected to be this weekend. I wasn't as quick as Charles all throughout practice. But yeah, I'm just astounded. I mean, look at Lando Norris's low down too. Team recommended we do one run for qualifying on the mediums. I'm in shock right now. I just cannot believe it. So we're not even going to progress through. We're going to be starting 17th. When will our luck turn around? I mean, we've had that engine failure last time out as well. Yeah, I'm just astounded, but let's try not to focus on that. Alex Albon ahead of us and Nico Hulkenberg behind us. So yeah, let's just try to get a good start. It is only the sprint race, luckily. So we'll see how the car feels and try to make some moves, and maybe we can finish in the top 8 if we're lucky.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I'm sure it's one that will please the fans. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Perez, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ricciardo, Ocon, Joe, Bottas, Magnussen, Albon, Mr. Monaco, Hulkenberg, Stroll, and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Well, if I have to listen to Anthony Davidson talk about pre-race rituals one more time, I might punch someone. I thought that it would fix the bug if I switched it to Crofty, but supposedly not. So that's just good how it's going to have to be. But anyway, P17 here. As I said, Albon in front and Hulkenberg behind. So we're going to start on medium tires and do the full 10-lap race on those tires. And then, yeah, let's try to make some moves, see what we can do.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint.
Well, there you go. You can see the full running order as the formation lap begins here. So yeah, every driver on mediums. Also, I realized that the Sauber cars are quite high up, so good performance from them. So let's see what they can do.
Almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that with this new F124 update coming on Monday, that there will be some sort of addition to the available helmets and race suits and gloves and things like that. Because on F123 and 22 and all the games before that, it was great. You had all the offline options that you could want, but now there's only one. So let's see what will come of that. But right now we're focused on the sprint race. And we are focused on the 5 red lights. Starting up now for the Miami sprint. And it's lights out. And away we go. So we get a little bit of wheel spin there off the start like we usually do. But it is going to be a decent start. And we're going to go down the inside of the Kick Sauber car of Valtteri Bottas, who didn't get the best of starts. So we just go over the curbs there. I think we have just cleared Valtteri Bottas. So yes, there we go. We have got up to 15th place as Ricciardo and Joe battling into that section. You don't usually see that, as Ricciardo, I think, got not that great of a start. I think he was a little higher up than that, if I'm not mistaken. But we do need to start moving through the field here and now. 10 laps is not a lot of time. It's not a tire problem. It's just an issue of having time to get past these cars. Whoa! We're going to accidentally send it up the inside of the Aussie. Broke way too late there. I hit the brakes at the normal point that you think you would, as we're also going to go through this section on Zhou. You would never see a move there unless you are the two Alpine cars at this year's race. But Zhou getting his elbows out, I expected him to back out. So the AI are obviously a lot more aggressive on this game than past ones. As now it's going to be a drag race to the line, as Ricardo's going to be all over our gearbox. Are we going to go 3 wide down into the final heavy braking zone of the lap, as we're going to get the lap hooked up? So we've made up 4 places at the start. So now we're up to 13th place, as DRS is now going to be enabled. We've got Alex Albon and the Williams ahead, who started in front of us. He got a rocket start, but now we are right back up with him. So let's see what we can do from here. So we just get the car's been so understeery through that corner all weekend, but I'm just stuck behind Zhou here. I mean, I'm so much quicker through the corners, as first sector especially. It's just this straight line speed issue. I guess I could, because the cars are taken out of Parc Ferme after the sprint race, between the sprint and qualifying. But what I don't understand is why I'm so slow. But I guess I could change the settings a little bit between now and quali. So we are going to get the best run we could out of that corner there. As now here comes Valtteri Bottas. Just no speed. I don't know what's going on, as we're just going to deploy a little energy so we can stay ahead of him. But that's all we're relying on. If there was no energy and it was just straight engine power we were relying on, then yeah, we'd be cooked. And I don't think it's so much the engine as it is our chassis. We're just so draggy, so I think that's the area where we need to focus our upgrades. But now I want to see how much I gain on Zhou through here compared to what I'm losing on the straights. I mean, look at that. You can already see how much closer I'm getting to the Chinese driver. I'm getting on the throttle as early as I possibly can, but yeah, there's nothing in it. It's impossible. But look at the gap Max Verstappen has already in the lead here on lap 6. So it doesn't look like the rain is going to hit us. If it does, it'll be at the very end, and there will be enough time for a tire switch. So now we're going to try to get a good run onto the back straight. Deploy some battery, tuck into the slipstream. Just going to use everything we've got, and he's still pulling away. Well, team telling me about 10 minutes until the rain is forecast to hit, so don't imagine it will affect us. But I genuinely, if this is how we are going to perform in the race, I mean, this is obviously where we were losing all that time in qualifying. I'm going to have to make not even a minor setup change, a major. I'm going to have to rework everything and build it around straight line speed, because that seems to be where the AI they've gone that route in terms of setup. As I'm going to turn off the DRS, or ERS, excuse me, so I can charge some battery up through this section. And you can see how much quicker I am through here than the green Sauber. Yeah, there's just nothing I can do. Genuinely. It is Pierre Gasly pulling to the wayside. I was wondering what the yellow flags were. We gotta keep our eyes on the breaking point. What is he doing? What is he doing? He just went side by side with me. So I was trying to stay out of his way.
Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
So I'm sure that will be frustrating
Okay, they're out of this race.
for the Frenchman. But yeah, now we have lost any chance to get past Zhou Guanyu here on the final lap of the Miami sprint race. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to have to completely rework my setup. This is just terrible how this is going right now. But it looks like Fernando Alonso pulling away from our teammate Charles Leclerc in third. So Alonso has stepped up his game once again in that Aston Martin. Here we go. Zhou Guanyu has used up all of his battery. We were saving just a little bit. Are we going to be close enough to be later on the brakes down into the hairpin? This is going to be so satisfying if we can make the move stick as we lock up. And we just managed to keep it out of the side pod of him there. So we do end up making the move in the end, but it's no matter. Going to be P12.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix.
Well, there you go. End of the sprint race. Max Verstappen wins by 8.2 seconds. Looks like no one's going to stop him around this circuit. As Fernando Alonso comes home second. Our teammate Leclerc finishing third. Yeah, no more surprises, it looks like, up and down the field. But yeah, Pierre Gasly having that DNF. We managed to recover to 12th, which is, I guess, good for 10 laps, but it's over a full race distance. We would not make it into the top 10, I'm afraid. So I still can't believe how much he was pulling away on the straight. It was just insane. But yeah, I'm going to rework my setup and see what I can do. Well, here we are in the car ready for our first run of qualifying for the Grand Prix. Not so sure how this car is going to want to behave, but I've completely reworked the setup. So let's see if it has helped. I wondered why we were so slow in quali. That's just goes to show you how little practice times really mean.
We've dropped to P12.
So no time right now. Car still feels good through this section. I think our first testament as to whether we've fixed our straight line speed issues will be here. But it also is very difficult to tell until we have compared it to another car. So we are capping out the speedometer and the RPM limiter. So that's a good sign there. So as the car just get out of our way so we can complete our lap. So we just cooked the rear tires through that section, a little too much throttle. Yeah, I think it's a little better, or maybe a lot better. I honestly can't really tell, because I couldn't tell that we were slow down the straights in quali either. Since obviously I'm not in the car, I'm not feeling it. So we're going to pick up a little bit of a tow from the V-carb ahead of us, up towards the line, P3. So already a good sign that we are best of the rest behind the two Red Bull cars. And yeah, Checo obviously upping his game as well. So have we fixed our issues here?
Tank's pretty much empty.
Can we go from 0 to hero? Well, at the end of Q1 here, we make it through, and I can't complain about that. So Fernando Alonso, very strange Q1 here, but also very exciting. We have Fernando Alonso and then the two McLaren boys who are starting to get more equal, at least in terms of quali pace. Piastri just 3 milliseconds off of his teammate. But another thing I noticed, our teammate, Charles Leclerc, in 5th, has a 5th place grid penalty. and it looks like he had a collision with George Russell at some point. So 5 places for him, so not good news. Any surprises? Yuki Tsunoda, that might be the first time Yuki's got knocked out in qualifying this season. In Q1 at least, he has been doing a phenomenal job. But don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. Then we have Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu, the 2 kick Saubers, not doing as well as they did in sprint quali. And Logan Sargent last once again by 5/10. I love him. He's a great guy, but come on, Logan. So yeah, we have made it through. Confidence is high. Let's see what we can do as we progress up towards this twisty technical uphill section, because I think I just exceeded track limits a little there. Real life, it would get my lap time deleted. For some reason, that's not how it works in the game. I wish it was different. But now we're going to get the DRS wide open, and look at that. I'm very confident going into this race. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, though. So I know the car I have underneath me might not be good enough to beat Max Verstappen and Red Bull today. We go 5th, a 10th off of Lando Norris, so very, very, very close field. But obviously it was just a banker lap, so I wasn't pushing to the full maximum.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
Thanks for that, Mark. I'm on my in lap. Well, as the sun sets on this beautiful Miami International Autodrome, we are going to start our final run of Q3 and see what we can do and where we can put this scarlet red Ferrari. Well, we go purple in the middle sector. We are 8/10 up on our previous lap. Could this be the lap of the season so far for us? Not sure the gap to the drivers further up, but now we're going to exit the final corner onto the straight up towards the line. P2. So Max Verstappen we were P1 just for a moment there, but Max Verstappen behind us went even quicker. And yeah, everyone has completed their runs, so P2 on the grid for us, and I'm happy with that. There we go. Look at that. 4/10 to Max Verstappen, 127.1 for the Dutchman. Then we have Lando Norris behind, who is only 0.05 off of us. Then we have Sergio Perez in the other Red Bull, change in form from him, finally. And then Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. Charles Leclerc, our teammate, is 0.5 away from our time. Surprise there. So this new setup obviously working wonders, but the field is not nearly as tight as it was in sprint quali. I mean, if you remember at the end of sprint quali 1, a second covering all the drivers. Here, a second is barely covering the top 7. And then Mercedes, once again, not having the best qualifying. Lewis Hamilton 10th and George Russell 8th. We saw that same result at some other point in the season. But yeah, starting second, could we go for a first lap lunge on Max Verstappen if we get a start that is good enough? or should we just hang back, play it safe, and bring home a secure podium? No mistakes, no excuses. Let's do this.
Well, it's no secret that F1 is booming in popularity right now in the USA. Today's race, one of 3 in the United States, is a testament to that. It's time for the Miami Grand Prix. With great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour, the Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Stroll, Hamilton, Leclerc, Ocon, Albon, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Bottas, Joe, Sargent, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Well, once again, Anthony Davidson is talking about pre-race rituals. EA hopefully will fix this bug on Monday, because I don't know if I can take it anymore. It is very, very frustrating, but team, once again, the old mediums to hards. That's the way we are going to go. Wish we had more 2- and 3-stop races. But yeah, we are going to start P2 on the grid behind the Dutch world champion. Pretty intimidating challenge to take up, but it's nothing we haven't faced before.
As the formation lap gets underway here in Miami, the drivers will be wanting to leave a lasting impression on the thousands of fans who've flocked to today's race. The anticipation is certainly rising, and everyone is hoping for a fantastic and memorable Grand Prix.
Well, everyone on mediums besides the 2 McLarens and the 2 RBs. So Lando Norris
Cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out. Let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
As I was saying, Lando Norris on the hard tires directly behind us, so his tires will last longer, but at the start of this race, we should have a little more grip off the line, as all these cars this year, in this year's game, just go flying into their grid spots. No time being wasted whatsoever. And now Pierre Gasly, who had the engine failure last time out in the sprint, is going to line up on the back row. Green flag waves now. So we have 5 red lights ready for the Miami Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go after an insanely long hold. And now we are going to get quite a good start. Max Verstappen is going to go around the inside of the corner there, taking a very defensive line. And as I thought, Norris would not get that great of a start, so now it's the Red Bull and the Aston Martin, of Perez and Alonso respectively, who got past Lando at the start. And now Max Verstappen will want to be pulling away. So we try to get the car planted out of this corner, and we do. So we are now behind the Dutch world champion as we're going to get a crazy run. Look at that. After suffering with our straight line speed so much in the sprint race, we're going to try to go around the outside for the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. Whoa, apologies for that. Big lock up there, just panicked. I locked the rears, caused us to almost crash into Max Verstappen. Got a good look at the Dutchman's side pod, at least. As now we're going to exit onto the back straight. Use a little bit of energy as we tuck into the slipstream of Adrian Newey's masterpiece. It's got a little bit of speed, but as soon as we pull out, there it goes. Nothing left in it. So we're going to lock up once again, going into the final corner. So didn't make up anything, didn't lose anything at the start. Now we'll absolutely take that. But now with DRS available, with no DRS, you could see what we could do on Max Verstappen. He's not pulling away as much as I thought he would be. So I wonder where that gap is going to start forming and what cars will start splitting away and what cars will stay within each other. So we know in F124 the AI love to form DRS trains and clump together for the entirety of a Grand Prix. As Verstappen is a little bit further away than he was last time, but we're going to give it everything we can as there's yellow flags out already. As we're going to go up the inside of Max Verstappen with DRS. So we're going to go a little deep there once again. As Checo, it's Sergio Perez, the other Red Bull. I wasn't really paying attention there. I was trying to go for the move for the lead of the race, but it is Sergio Perez now out of the Miami Grand Prix. So heartbreak for him. He finally gets himself up into a decent qualifying position after a bad run of form, and instantly, here on lap 2, he has broken down, pulling off to the wayside. Once again, we go extremely deep. I need to focus more on my braking points. We're going to go side by side with Fernando Alonso, the Spanish two-time champ. Down into turn 1. Can we hold on to this position? Yes, we can, but now we need to focus on getting back up to Max Verstappen. Just a little hesitant on the throttle there. So we need to get back up to the Red Bull Racing car. Don't know if I'll have the tires or grip for it. So he's 1.5 ahead, so we need to make up 5/10 if we want to get back into the DRS zone. So I think we're about evenly matched on the straight as well. Fernando, I didn't see you there, buddy. Sorry about that. All the time you have to leave the space, as the Spanish driver once said. But he's forcing us to go offline, which is costing us a little bit of time. So we're going to get a big slide there as I exceed track limits in the same place I did in qualifying. So we're now 1.2 behind the Dutchman. So we go purple in the middle sector as well. Lando Norris currently occupies the fastest lap so far. Out onto the straight here to start lap 4. Will it be a fastest lap? No, it will not. It'll be a 1:31.000, so exactly a minute and 31 seconds. As we are just losing touch with Verstappen once again. I don't want to have to defend. I really, really need to push a little harder and keep up with Max Verstappen. Now, is it a car breaking down? It is. Kevin Magnussen is now out of the Miami Grand Prix. So we've had 2 retirements by the time we get to the end of lap 4. We don't usually see that very often. Just got over the bumps there, but I think we might be back into DRS range. Well, unfortunately we are not, but the team informing me there that the engine is hot as we go past Kevin Magnuson's stricken car on the side of the road, but now we get a little closer to the Red Bull ahead. And now the gap is going to be 9/10.
Okay, clear.
Is it enough though? I think we are in DRS range now. There we go. So DRS range for us, but it did come at the cost of using a lot of battery. But now I don't think I'll have to use as much battery. But another cost will be that we have to get out of the slipstream in order to cool down our engine.
Car in front, try to keep up this momentum.
And Alonso has not been dropping back behind us either. So we're a lot closer to Max Verstappen. So I was just charging quite a bit of battery through that section there, and we're going to deploy all of that going down the back straight towards the final corner. Here we go, tucked into the slipstream, going to force him to the inside. So we're going to be a little bit later on the brakes. Round the outside, we get a little bit unstable in the braking zone there. So unable to make the move on the Red Bull. But this is showing that we have the pace to at least get alongside the Red Bull. I don't think we'll be able to pull away. But now I'm sure he is starting to feel the pressure as Lando Norris is going to start making moves at some point as well. Our tires are going to fall off and his are going to come to him. So we are going to try to throw the car out of the corner there. Use a little bit more battery to defend from Fernando, but it might not be enough. I think he just got on the throttle a little sooner than us. Is he going to get alongside us? Don't know if he is. No, he is not going to go for a move as bold as that. So we lock the rears a bit there. Been struggling with rear locking all weekend through that specific corner. Nowhere else. So something for the team to look at. We're even closer. Almost going in the back of Max Verstappen, coming out of that corner on to the back straight. So it seems he's using more battery at the start of the straight, and we're using it more at the end, as I was a little bit ambitious on the brakes there. We can't stay with him towards turn 1 once again. We just got to save up a little more battery, and then I think we can make this move stick. Here we go again. Is third time the charm? As he's not getting away from us as much as he would like by the time we get to the activation point. And now we are going to pass him on the revs. So we get even closer to Max Verstappen. Going to stay nice and calm around the outside. He is going to be able to get a better drive from the inside. And once again, we're not going to make the move stick. So if we go up the inside, can we get a better chance of getting the move done, as Alonso almost thinks he's got past us. I think we had a little bit of contact there. We did. So apologies for that. But now he's going side by side with Lando Norris, as Max Verstappen is now even further from us, as I forgot to turn the DRS, or the ERS again, excuse me, back on. So that's why I lost so much time down that straight. I wasn't even thinking. So apologies for that. So now I gotta spend this lap catching back up to the Dutchman. So need to stay focused and not make silly mistakes like that. Oh, Alonso and Norris battling down into that corner. They're still going to go side by side. Alonso just is inching ahead. But now they are going wheel to wheel. As Norris comes out on top. With a little bit unsteady through that braking zone. And the acceleration point. But now I have just so much battery I've been saving up. Team wants us to box at the end of lap 13. We are not going to go to the outside. We're going to go to the inside.
Gap behind us, 2.4 seconds.
Not a great time to talk to me, Mark, as I just go even deeper than Verstappen. I think he just saw that. But now we're going to be even closer. We did get a better drive off the inside line. He's going to force us to go to the outside once again. This is incredibly aggressive driving from Max Verstappen. But here we go. It's going to give it to the inside for turn 2. And now we have taken the lead of the Miami Grand Prix here on lap 12.
Nice move. Keep going.
Thank you, Mark.
Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance and the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed.
Well, as Mark says there, at the end of lap 13, we are going to box. And yes, our tires are almost done for us. Here comes Max Verstappen up the inside. And we are just going to let him go. There is the Dutchman going to come into the pit lane as well. Yes, he is. So, let's see what we can do. Let's just about get it slowed down there. Hopefully, we can get track position if their team makes a mistake, but knowing Red Bull, that is very unlikely. Or did they? Did they make a mistake? Yes! Max Verstappen. What happened to the Dutchman there? So he comes in the pit lane, and it is the rear right, or the rear left that they are slow on. So just all over the place, slow with all the tires. Well, that was a big surprise there. I honestly was not expecting that to really happen.
More scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
It was just a thought, but now we are going to come out into some traffic. And what is that from Pierre Gasly? You got to give me more room than that, man. As Verstappen is not going to be 2 seconds behind us, and he's going to be more focused on Alonso behind rather than myself in front, unless I keep getting held up by this Alpine. He's so slow, still on those old medium tires. And would you look at that, Max Verstappen has now gained like 6 or 7 tenths, which will be enough. But I'm going to have DRS down this straight, courtesy of Pierre Gasly. What are you doing? He's just closing the door left and right. He has no right to drive this aggressively when he is in an Alpine and I am in a Ferrari, and he is on 14 lap older tires than myself. I don't really think he has any right to be that aggressive, especially knowing how easily he can lose control, but we do get past him. Hulkenberg is up next, but I assume everybody who's on mediums is just waiting for their teammate to box, as we are going to see them come into the pit lane. But here comes Pierre Gasly once again, and Max Verstappen behind him as our teammate Charles Leclerc is going to come into the pit lane.
Charles is in for his stop now.
So now Pierre Gasly, what is that? From Pierre Gasly, he's pushed Max Verstappen into the pit lane. Riding on board with Max Verstappen, I just forced Pierre Gasly to the inside, and now Gasly's trying to box, and he's trying to get into the pit lane and forces Max Verstappen that same direction. I'm just astonished at that. Look at that. Unbelievable scenes here in Miami. So now Max's race is ruined, and he is not going to get... That's pretty much his chance to win the Grand Prix over. Wow, what a here at the Miami International Autodrome. As, I hope... Okay, yeah, no, he's still in the pit lane from his earlier stop. And I believe that forced Max Verstappen in as well. This is a McLaren 1-2 at the moment. Norris, who of course won his first Grand Prix at this very track this season. But hopefully we can win here and pick up another win. I don't think... we haven't won a race since the opening round in Bahrain. The most recent event we've won was the sprint in China. But could this be our chance to put ourselves back on the map? So I'm under pressure from Fernando behind a little bit. And Danny Ricciardo, remember, started on the hards as well as the two McLarens. So they'll be wanting to go a little longer to have some extra tire life at the end. So now it looks like it is a battle between myself, Fernando Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton for the win of the Grand Prix. So we're going to be battling all the way down into turn 1. Here comes Alonso. Can he be positioning his car correctly up the inside? No, he's not. We're just going to shut the door on him. And will that get him on the back foot? against his old rival Lewis Hamilton. These tires have so much grip, nearly flat out through that first left-hander. Down into third gear, we're just ever so slightly gaining on Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe a little more than slightly. And I believe Alonso does still have DRS. So here he comes up the inside. Can we hold the position, or will we just have to give a little bit of way here to the Spanish drivers? He's going to force us out, and what a move that was from Alonso. Very aggressive. As I say again, Fernando Alonso barging his way past me, and the AI are just so much more aggressive on this game, and I am here for it. As we're going to tuck into the slipstream, he's going to go to the inside. He must have seen how I got past Max Verstappen, because he covers the inside a lot more than the Dutchman did. As he is just going to hold on to that position for now. And will this squabbling help our teammate Charles Leclerc catch up? Whoa! And there, coming out of the pit lane, Lando Norris. Would you look at that? Lando Norris takes the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. And now, so that strategy starting on the hards seemed to work out for Norris and McLaren. Not sure where Piastri will come out of the pit lane. But remember, Ricciardo and Norris started on the same tires, so this is a pit stop ahead for Lando Norris as, oh, we just go into the wall there, as that was very close. Virtual safety car. Virtual safety car. I think Alonso or Hamilton, one of the two, I think Alonso, tried to go up the inside, and I didn't give him enough room. I didn't really see there, so that was my fault. Hamilton might have gotten a penalty for going into the back of Alonso, but this will give us a chance to just charge up our battery a little bit. So apologies for that. I thought he was going to back out, as we've got some damage to the front wing. And now we are green flag racing once again, as Daniel Ricciardo is going to come into the pit lane. Lando Norris leads the Miami Grand Prix. Well, net leads the Miami Grand Prix. His teammate Oscar Piastri has not stopped yet, but he will not come out into the lead. As now we are going to have to start pushing. If we thought Max Verstappen was going to be difficult to get by, I'm sure Lando will be fighting even harder for this win. Well, our teammate Charles Leclerc behind us, running third, about 2.8 off of us. And I wonder if Alonso did just pick up some damage with that incident that I had with him, as I just locked the rears there once again. You don't normally see rear locking in real life Formula 1, but you see it a lot in this game especially. Piastri now clears Alonso, as is his teammate Lance Stroll, who's moving up the field. It's Leclerc and Piastri battling away once again. So Piastri on the fresher tires, but that advantage is going to start to swing our way soon, as I am not gaining on Norris the way that I have wanted to. So slowly the win is starting to slip out of our grasp. But I must admit, fair play to McLaren. Absolute amazing strategy call for them. They kept Lando out just at the perfect moment. Same with Oscar. And pit them just at the correct timing to get out ahead of us. I'm going to deploy everything I've got. I got to charge up some battery at some point. But here comes Oscar Piastri. He's going to have the outside line. Can we brake later and maybe defend our position? It's a very risky move, but I think we just about make it stick, and that's going to allow our teammate Charles Leclerc to go right up the inside of the McLaren driver, or is he? Are they going to still be side by side? Is are we going to get Ricardo Zonted here? No, they're not going to split, but here comes Piastri on us once again. So it seems the key to getting our teammate by is just to kind of force Piastri out and get him bogged down, as he's going to try to go up the inside into this twisty S's section. So that was very bold there from the McLaren driver, as Lando Norris is now nearly 10 seconds in the lead. So that's nigh on impossible to make up from where we stand currently. As, I don't want to do what I did with Alonso just last second there. Leclerc decided to go for that move, and I get the car nice and decelerated into that corner. This is going to start to be very stressful for us. As I get a little kick of wheel spin there. Just starting to lose grip on these tires, and the rears are heating up. And now here comes our teammate Charles Leclerc once again. Got to keep it nice and clean and steady, especially around the other Ferrari. Rule number 1 of racing: don't crash into your teammate. So I'm going to give him the space around the outside. Just going to have to lift ever so slightly there, as he's going to have DRS once again. He's going to go to the outside. Did we make a little too late of a move there, as Piastri's going to try to get 2 for the price of 1. This is a brilliant battle we've got going. I'm sure the spectators will be liking that, as Crofty said at the start of the race. And now the McLaren man has got past our teammate once again. So it's pretty much just a game of DRS chicken, such as in Saudi Arabia 2022 between Verstappen and Leclerc. So Charles has some experience in that sort of tactical battle on track, especially this track with its twisty nature. As Piastri's just going to soar by us, and Leclerc's going to try to do the same thing as we break even later. Can't be doing stuff like that. I just was trying to tuck in behind Piastri, but I couldn't because Leclerc was on our outside. But luckily, that didn't go bad. Surely he's going to have another run down towards the final corner. It's just long back straight, as here he comes on us. Going to try to go up the inside. We're going to maybe hang around the outside, as we had a lot of rear locking there. Big mistake from us. So now we drop from P2 to P4. We're not even on the podium anymore. Oh, Oscar Piastri. Would you look at that? Into turn 1, Piastri has made the mistake of his life, and I think he just rejoined just ahead of Russell. Russell kind of had to jam on the brakes. Would you look at that? I cannot believe that just happened. What a stroke of luck that is. Oscar Piastri just going straight on into turn 1. But now we still have our teammate Charles Leclerc to worry about, so I'm going to push with all my might for this final lap. Probably should have saved up a little more battery, but now Russell got past Piastri, so he runs P4. Currently Ferrari 2-3. As I go a little deep into that corner there. Just had to get out of the throttle. Shoot, that's going to give us a horrible run down towards turn 1 as we start the final lap of the Miami Grand Prix. It's been a good race overall. I think if we would have managed that with Lando a little bit more, and if not for that mistake with Alonso, we could have won this race today. But it's just starting to look more and more like we're going to finish P3 here today on this sunny afternoon in Florida. So I'm pushing with everything I have, but it's not going to be enough to get me into the DRS range of Charles Leclerc. And might George Russell just have a look at us going down into this corner here. He's going to go for a last lap overtake for the podium, and he makes it stick. So that drops us down to P4. I was just charging up a little bit of battery. Hopefully, we saw it with Joe at the end of the sprint race. Has Russell used all of his battery? And will that allow us to get a run on him? Yes, he has. You can see the rear lights signifying that he's harvesting energy. Can we go around the outside of the Mercedes driver as Lando Norris comes home to take a Grand Prix victory in Miami, just as he did in real life? We are going to go around the outside of George Russell. Our teammate comes home second. It is P3, and that's another podium secured for Scuderia Ferrari.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
I mean, you can't complain about that, as our teammate Charles Leclerc gets driver of the day. But yeah, I can't really complain about that result.
Here we are then, a phenomenal Miami Grand Prix, and what a great show of skill from our race winners today.
To overcome the difficult circumstances they face throughout this race today, Crofty, it's not easy, and it really shows a lot of maturity, and you can use this, you can draw on this as a driver moving forward and boost your confidence through the rest of the championship.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we go. End of the Miami Grand Prix. We are going to finish P3 behind our teammate Lando, taking the win by 12.743 seconds. His teammate Oscar Piastri comes home 5th with the fastest lap to score 11 points. Then we have Lance Stroll in the S1R and Esteban Ocon. Look how high up he is from 11th on the grid. Fernando Alonso down to 8th from 5th with that damage from that incident. I'm so sorry, Fernando. I didn't see on the outside, man. Valtteri Bottas for Kick Sauber from 17th is going to score 2 points, as is Danny Ricciardo from 14th on the grid. But yeah, Sergio Perez, DNF, Max Verstappen finishing... Well, no, he's not last. Lewis Hamilton finishes last. Must have had some sort of issue there, as I am not sure. Let's see if he had an extra pit stop. He did. He had to change his front wing on lap 17. And then he had to make another pit stop on lap 23 because those soft tires wouldn't last the full race distance. I would assume that's why. And then that one was a slow stop as well. So, heartbreak for Max Verstappen and for Red Bull as a whole. They come away pointless. That's going to cut into their constructors' lead. It is, actually. They're going to be overtaken by McLaren, and now we are just 28 points behind in third. Kick go 8th in the standings. And Haas are now the only team who have not scored points yet. But yeah, that was a very, very, let's say, bittersweet race. I feel like we should have won today, but happy for Lando. McLaren deserved that win today after that strategy masterclass. So yeah, interesting race, and we're going to keep pushing and see what we can do next time out in Imola. Not a sprint weekend this time out, but I'll see you guys next time in Italy.